Hey everybody in the Single Women of Purpose group. But I'm also going to make this available to everybody because I don't like, I like when we just have our intimate conversations and topics and discussions, but I love to share information and encouraging the masses. That's just who I am. But there's those moments where everything is just about us. But today, in the group, it is considered, I call it Fearless and Bold Friday. And part of me being a life purpose coach, a mental health professional, and a motivational empowerment speaker is I love to push people to live a life that is fearless, that is bold. And to live a life that is fearless and bold means, hey, Deetra, it means that you are brave, you are audacious, you are spirited, you are courageous, you are daring. And the way to be fearless in life, when you want to do stuff, is to do the opposite of what you're feeling. And the other key to that is not to worry about the end. A lot of you are still waiting for the .org or the .com. I use that example because a lot of times, I'm just going to use business for an example, but this is not just related to business. This is just related to being the best of you in life. A lot of times, there's people who have that spirit of perfection. And until everything is lined up and all the ducks are in a row and every I is dotted and every T is crossed, they would not step out and do stuff in life. And you can't always wait for the .org. What I mean by that is like a website. A lot of times people say, well, you can't start a business until you're able to get your own, web address and put the .com. And I'm like, I beg to differ. I say, you got to know when it's your season to step out on faith and just do the darn thing. Go out there and have your whatever website you using, .wordpress. I started some of my websites that way. And then as I grew, and then just a couple of months, I'll go ahead and pay for a web address. But you have to start. So for some of us, we need to just start something and not wait around, because what happens is you won't do anything. So it's better in life if you go and try to do the things that you yearn and you desire to do, and that's inside of you is yearning. What happens is when you live in fear, you hold yourself back from great opportunities. You won't grow. You won't be elevated in certain things. And I'm not even talking about business. It can be just being part of a group or something, or speaking up, advocating for someone. And what you do is you hold a lot of things back in your own life. And that's like self-sabotaging. You self-sabotaging things that even God called you to do or called you to be, because you won't allow yourself to step out on faith. And even the word says that anything that does not come from faith is sin. When I saw that, I was like, whoa. Even God does not expect you to be perfect, because he puts the perfect on you. Understand, he is the super on your natural. And so going by faith is not always seeing the end. It's like he did with Abraham. I believe it was Abraham when he says, I'm going to take you to a place and I'll show you. So he didn't know the full ending. He didn't know everything by detail, but he had enough faith to trust God to lead him, knowing that God has an expected and a wonderful end for him, and God has the best plans for him. But that's when you have a relationship with God. That's the awesome thing, because you understand that you trust God. I don't know everything. I don't know what you're doing, God, in this season, because I'll do that. But I trust you, especially based on past situations, and look what you have brought me out of, because I trusted you. Not only that, people see your audaciousness and your boldness, and that encourages other people, because to them, they just see all of that, but they don't understand. No, I did this afraid. I stepped out and did stuff. I never was one to wait for permission. I always tell people I am rebellious, and I mean rebellious in a good way. I don't always go by the status quo or what they say. This is how this is supposed to be. That's never been me. As long as it's in God's will, we good. I'm like, we good, God? Okay, then let's go. If I was to live my life like that, I would have never finished school. I would have never wrote my book. I would have never started my business. I would have never gone live because of fear. I'm like, look, you know what? Some of you are scared to do that too. You want to go live, and I know particular people in this group, but I'm not going to call their name, but I'm here to push you. This is what this group is all about. To push you to do things that you maybe wouldn't do because you're not in the right environment. You don't have the right cheerleaders around you. You don't have the right yay sayers around you. And so if you're constantly in a company of people where you all operate in fear, you have to get new circles. And I'm not saying to delete those people, because you may be the influencer in that group, but you also need to be aligned with people who are bold and audacious and daring. They're not waiting for anybody to tell them what to do, how to do it, when to do it. You need to have A, B, C, and D and everything. No, that's a lie. I've never waited for that. I've never. And people are encouraged by me being audacious, like not having everything all together, not having all the funds to start put up my website to sell my wonderful natural products. Somebody was asking me about that the other day. I said, look, there's nothing wrong with rebranding and relabeling, but you just need to start somewhere, and that's what I'm saying. So when I started even making my natural butters and lip butters and my shampoo, which is really an all-over shampoo because it's for the whole body. Hey, good afternoon. It's for the whole body. I just did what I could afford. I got my little labels. I got major list of companies, but I found the most affordable for me at the time because I didn't want that to stop me. I think one thing about that helps me to be fearless, to do things anyway. I have more fear of not doing something and never seeing the outcome. I have a fear of living with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And I may not do everything that comes to my mind in life because I'm always, all kinds of things come to my head, ideas. And I'll call myself an inventionist. However, most of the things that are inside of me that I want to be birthed. And I don't have time to allow fear to keep me from seeing the expected. I have an expected end. It's like Jeremiah in 29 talks about, the plans that God has for us. For his people. And so I want to see the other side. And that's the mindset. It's always a mindset with everything. If you're in a tunnel, if you're in a pit, if you're in a prison, you got to visualize yourself on the other side. And that's me. So I don't have time to be stuck. You can be stuck for a season. I'm not saying we don't go through stuff, but I'm talking about when you allow your own self, when you stick your own self, when you keep your own self behind and stuck, you retard growth, you retard promotion. You never put yourself in a position where you want to be elevated. You got to understand, a lot of people you see in leadership, they were also fearful of things, but something inside of them said, I'm going to do this. And you know what? Embrace the mistakes. And I always say this, embrace the mistakes, because again, the mindset is a learning lesson. Even the scripture says through every trial we learn. So I'm telling you, the reason why I go to the word a lot, because it's the word that really pumped me up. It's the word that gave me encouragement. I'm like, wow, that is so true. It's how you see things. It's how you perceive things. If you always perceive things on the negative side, what if this failed? What if this don't work? That right there is self-sabotaging. But if you can learn how to change your perspective and perception of things, you know what? I'm going to try this. And even if it don't work out, I'm going to learn something out of this. And I'm going to apply the lessons to something else. That's the mindset. That's changing the mind. So no longer, staying stuck. That season is over. I want you to move forward. I want you to push. Let me tell you, at the beginning of this year, at the end of every year, God always give me a prophetic word, and he did it a lot, when I was in church in New York, and at the end of the year, he will always give me something, and no matter what group I was in or part of, I would always share that word. And I remember this time, at the beginning of the year, he let me know that this was the year of clarities, and this is the year of promises, and to decree and declare what he's put in our spirit. And so he put in my spirit that this was he was showing me some things that I'm going to be doing this year, but I was to make it plain. I was to declare and decree. And one way I declared and decreed it, one of the things was having more speaking engagements this year. So at the beginning of the year, I started making my little quick posters on Canva. Canva is the bomb, y'all. If y'all don't know about Canva, oh my gosh. You look like you just, people say, oh my God, who makes your design and your graphics? I'm like, I do stuff on Canva. I used to do it in Publisher. If you and most of us are creative, and some of us don't know it, but you can be creative. And I look at my old images and postings from years ago, and I'm like, wow, I came a long way. But even in that, I was like, I was creative. You got to pat yourself on the back, for even trying to do stuff and stepping out. Again, I didn't wait to have a designer or a social media strategist. You just got to step out and do things by yourself. And I believe that God will send people along your side to help you. It's like starting a ministry. Yes, Canva is awesome. Starting a church. Sometimes when you open up the doors, you're the sweeper, you're the maintenance guy, you're the pastor, you're the usher, you're the tambourine player, you're everything. You're the evangelist, you're the prophet. And that's the grassroots. And that's what I want to get to, the grassroots. However, so I started making these wonderful flyers on Canva, and I said, I just put it out there, that I know who I am already. Speaking is not new for me. And I think sometimes we separate things, because I have helped other women see this. When they say, well, I've never spoken before, and I never... Good, Belinda. I'm glad you joined in. I've never spoke before in front of people. I'm like, and I'm listening to these people that I know of. They preach before crowds. I'm like, that's speaking. Why you separate preaching from... You're speaking to people. There's crowd. There's people. I don't care if there's 5 people on your job. If you do group meetings and you have to do a group meeting or stand before your colleagues or your coworkers, that's speaking. And again, I'm pulling you into a new mindset. This is how I saw stuff. It's like the beginning, and when you're getting out into the field to work and find, trying to find a job, and you don't have a lot of work experience. And that's why they always tell us it's good to pull on your, what do we do when we're not working, we're not getting paid, but internship is one, volunteering experience. That's what I was thinking of. When you're, everything you've done, whether it was outreach, volunteer, stuff in your church, I use all of that in the beginning of my resume. Again, I just like, what, I'm just going to be, people buy into you. Because that's what you're really selling at the end of the day. Your personality. People look at your personality, your integrity, your willingness to learn and to grow. They look at that. They see potential. And that's how it is even in the world. So when people see that, sometimes they don't pay too much attention to the resume, because anybody can doctor up their resume, but it's what you produce. And so I had to use my school experience. I got creative and used things that I did in the church, the skills and things I did in church. Like I ran the women's night and I ran men's night on Wednesdays and Tuesdays in my church back in New York. So I said, you know what? That's speaking before people. I'm leading a group of people. That is group. So I've learned group dynamics. And see, today is everything is focused on keywords, even in the job, even out there in the field. They're looking for keywords for you to highlight in your resume. And that's what I've learned to do. So you have to learn to pull out certain things. And I've done this. And tweak certain things. Sometimes it's the keywords, it's trigger words. Like I remember going for a job interview, and I'm going to come back to my point. I remember going to a job interview, and the doctor really liked me. He said, oh my gosh, he already told me he was hiring me. But he said he doesn't have the final say, that he had to run my resume to be audited through the board that was over him. He said the only thing, because I can already see that you have worked with people within the ministry of diverse population of people with different issues that were transitioning, because this job had to do with helping people deal with transitioning in the community from being institutionalized, like maybe in a hospital or rehabilitation center or nursing center. They had experienced traumatic brain injuries. And so he wanted me to he said, I see that you work with people that was in transition. Like the people that I ministered to in the men's and the women's houses, a lot of them came from jail, from prostitution, from homelessness. And they were in transition because we had transition from homelessness, and they were in transition because we had transitional homes within the ministry. So he said, go and put in the word transitioning, because they're looking for certain terms. He said, so put in transitioning. You did transitioning counseling. That's what he said. And so I went in there and made those little tweaks, and they approved everything. I was so excited. I said, wow. And I never forget that. I was like, thank you, Dr. Gallup. That was his name. He was a specialist in head injuries and injuries and trauma. So anyway, back to the postings and everything. So anyway, I put out there, what I do, talking about the speaking and everything. Like, okay, you know what? This year, we're going to be getting some speaking engagements, and we're going to be getting some paid speaking engagements as well. But I don't dismiss the free engagements, because, first of all, at the end of the day, I love pouring out to people. See, that's my passion. I told somebody the other day, a pastor, there's an opportunity that came before him, and I just kept encouraging him to stay humble no matter what. I said, stay humble, pastor, stay humble, elder, because we always have to go back to the intent of our heart. When you are doing what God called you to do, he will elevate you. You humble yourself, God will exalt you in due time. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. And God gave me that clearly to give to him, that go in with the right intention into this ministry and stay humble like Paul, because Paul said, whether I'm getting paid or not, I'm compelled to preach the gospel. Now, I understand when it comes to business, it's about money and taking care of your household. But you can't despise small beginnings. You can't dismiss, opportunities, because another thing is this is exposure. So if you're trying to grow and you're trying to reach the masses, you have to look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is God may have called you to the nations. He may have called you to speak before people, and he will put you before great men. I didn't mean to go this way, but I think I'm getting on my preaching post right about now, because I do feel a little bit of my help coming on. But he called you out, and a lot of you sitting with greatness, and you see these visions, and you know God called you to do something wonderful. So you have to make up in your mind that I'm going to do this thing, come hell or high water. And that's like Paul was like, I have to do this thing because I've been compelled to preach the gospel. So I'm not a hireling, because somebody that you hire may just do something because they're motivated by the money. But Paul was motivated by his call. Come on, I know I'm helping somebody. It was purpose that called him. He was called to preach the gospel. A lot of you know about Apostle Paul. He persecuted the church. He ordered for Christians to be killed. But now he was a Christian, and God was using him. And so everything else, he was a man of learned. He sat under scholars. When you study Paul, he sat under major scholars. But when it came to being in Christ, he humbled himself and counted everything else that he learned as sheep's dung, mess, and said, right now, it's just about Jesus Christ and him crucified. So his mindset changed when he said, I'm doing this because I'm called to do this no matter what. So understand, even in your purpose, God is going to send you different opportunities, and you can't be motivated by the wrong thing all the time, because again, you will miss out and you will self-sabotage your future and your destiny and your blessing. And you have to think about the big picture. For years, people spoke into my life. I see you in big arenas. I see you doing this and doing that. And there was confirmation because God showed it to me too. But I didn't look at that because that was never my personality. I was the one who ran from my call too, inside out. People say, you look so bold and you feel that. I'm like, you don't understand. You don't understand that when I first started preaching and speaking, my hand used to shake like this. When they wanted me to preach, I couldn't stand when they did the platform services. Although I love platform services, and you church people know what I'm talking about, like the 7 last sayings that's coming up for a lot of you. You know, we're celebrating, we call it Resurrection Sunday, but the world calls it Easter. It's always like 7 speakers, and you talk about the different 7 sayings of Christ, the last words of Christ. And what I didn't like is that when I was growing in ministry, they always called me first. I used to, oh my God, why I gotta go first? I used to run, and I used to imagine myself coming up with excuses. Oh God, I don't feel good. I don't think I'm going to be probably to make it. Oh, I would go through so many changes inside. I know somebody identifies with that. Stomach and knots. Can't hardly sleep. Try to get that message right. Oh my goodness. But let me tell you, every time the opportunity came, God delivered. I give no credit to myself, but even on that's on the spiritual side, because the Lord comes along beside us and help us, because the word is there, but I needed a push. And I used to say, God, push me, push God, push. And I preached that one time when I was living inside of a transitional home. Oh, some of y'all know my testimony, but when I had to go through a period of living inside of a transitional home, God was using me. I was ministering in there, and I grew and became an associate pastor within that same ministry. But let me tell you, one of my messages was to the people was, push, God, push, because I wanted to see the end. I knew there was things inside of me that I had to get out. And I remember another minister of the church. She said, Cheryl, you got so much inside of you. I can't wait till they come out. I was like, I can't wait till they come out either. So I can't wait. I'm excited about your future. I want you to get excited about your future. And I always tell people this, even my clients, I'm excited about what God is doing in your life, because I always looked at somebody else's blessing as if it was me, because I'm like, wow, You win, I win. That's what this group is about. You win, we all win. And I believe that by a lot of our stories in this group, we motivate the other women to come up or to be bold and to be audacious and to be fearless and just do it and do it. Look, Creflo Dollar said, Dr. Creflo Dollar, another pastor, do it afraid. No, T.D. Jakes said do it afraid. I heard Creflo Dollar say that too. Just step out and do it. You know, so I'm pushing you to do it. So, okay, back again. But everything is lining up together because it's a mindset. It's stepping out on faith, declaring and decreeing. And when I say declare and decree, let me be clear, because the word talks about speaking, praying amidst. So not speaking and praying things just something that you just want or you seen somebody else do. But to avoid praying amiss is speaking things that God has shown you, visions that God has given you, things that's been in your spirit. Other people done came and prophesied and everything else and told you and confirmed in you, and you're still sitting. And so I started declaring and decreeing what God already showed me and told me, but this was the season to do it, and the way for me to do it, and also encouragement. Put those posters out there. I made one about my daughter and I, saying that me and my daughter do mother-daughter luncheons. I did that last year. This year, someone asked me to speak at a mother and daughter luncheon coming in May. Belinda's a witness. She's a witness that I'm going to be speaking here, but she didn't know the story behind that. And so I put out the flyer last year because I just saw it. I saw the vision. I'm like, me and my daughter are going to be doing some things. We're going to be speaking. We already started a mother-daughter YouTube channel. And now this person that invited me to speak did not see, because we're not connected on social media. She didn't see this post. That was me writing it down and making it plain, putting it out there in the atmosphere, doing what I was supposed to be doing. And in due season, I shall reap a harvest. Okay. So, but I was asked to speak at a mother-daughter luncheon. I had no idea. And I was like, sure. And I said, would you like me and my daughter to speak? And she was like, absolutely. That would be so great. So me and my daughter are having our first public mother and daughter speaking. Look at God. And also I put out more about me speaking and traveling and touring. And I'm telling you, it's like, I don't get caught up in like laws of attraction. I don't get caught up in, I'm trying to be very careful, because sometimes we can make a thing. Like there is season of sowing and reaping. That, and even naturally, when you sow a seed, a harvest is going to grow. You plant seeds and they're water. You know, even when ministering somebody or somebody growing in Christ and you're witnessing, and the Bible says one plant, like Paul plant, Silas, somebody waters and God give the increase. For a quick minute, I forgot the other name. But you know, somebody will plant the seed, somebody will water the seed, but God will make the thing grow. Whatever it is inside of that seed will grow and will blossom, and it will be manifested. People will see the fruits of it. So I put that out there, and I had got my first speaking engagement last month. It was awesome. But let me tell you, I was just happy just to be a speaker. And just wonderful woman named Kristen Wynn, who was the organizer, she asked me after to be the keynote speaker. I was like, okay. You know where my mind went? My mind went back to those platform services. I was like, okay, because she wanted me to be the opening keynote speaker. I thought I was going to speak last, somewhere in the middle, because first it was going to be around noon time, but she wanted me to open up. But God was so good. You know why? Because he prepared me. So when the day came, I didn't feel no fear at all. I was even shocked. I was like, I expected to feel a little fear, which is sometimes it's healthy, because it can push you and you end up doing your best. When you think it's going to be your worst, whatever, it ended up being the best. It ended up being fiery. Like when I did an initial sermon, and it was like, Pastor got up and said, because there was a couple of us becoming licensed. And he said, we started out with a big bang, whatever. We ended with us. I was like, thank you, God. I'm telling you, this is not on my own strength. This is me have a made up mind to go ahead and do it anyway, regardless, by any means necessary. Birth that thing out of you. There's too many people, and you know this, in the grave with gifts and talent that they never operated in. They haven't even tapped into it. So at least tap into it. I remember when I was young, there was a saying that to try is to fail, but I never agree with that. I would say to not try is more to fail because you don't even try. So get around people that at least get you to the point where you want to try something. Because I guarantee you, when you try it the first time, it can really motivate you. And if you're around cheerleaders and yay sayers, I don't care if you mess up a little bit. They're like, you know how we do this in church. It's all right. You sing for Jesus. You can sound horrible, but it was about worship. It wasn't about that. But we just had a practice of encouraging each other because that's what we're supposed to do in the Lord. We encourage each other. It's like, you better go ahead and sing. And just cheer you on. And that's what we need. We need to cheer each other on. So that's the grassroots part. Just starting something from grassroots, from the beginning, the basic fundamentals of something, whether it's business, ministry, a mission, or a cause, whatever you want to do. Maybe you just want to start having because I said I want to do this every year now because I had my first girls trip, I think it was last summer, went to Myrtle Beach. I want to do that every year. So something like that, okay, you know what? I want to do this every year. I'm going to have to get with some people and my friends, because I have a circle of friends too that we knew each other for years, where part of me was a little reluctant because it seems like I'm always initiating something, but I understand that that's who God called me to be. But sometimes it's like, can somebody else initiate? Can we do this thing together? Because it's like, sometimes, I had a group before, a singing group, and it's like to always be on top of everybody and always doing this. You get tired of doing it. I'm like, can somebody else come and do this thing? But it's like, that's my position right now. Understand who you are. Sometimes you're the influencer in your group. So you got to do what you got to do. So I spoke it. I put it out there. And what I did tell them, now you got to communicate to people. I said, you know what? I'm going to start this thing and I'm going to let you guys know about it. And any ideas you guys have, help me out. Let's do this together. So I have somebody who said, Cheryl, if you're going to come back and do this in the state where she lives at, I will help you. We can do an itinerary. I'm like, yes. Because when you start something a lot of times and it's just you have to think of everything. And I'm tired of thinking. You guys know I use my thinking mind every day. I got to, with counseling and coaching people and doing mental health, it's a lot. You're thinking for the person. You're thinking, it's a lot of thinking. So this think tank, sometimes it's too much, and I'm like, I want somebody to help me. I think that's one of the things I think about even in marriage. Not even the marriage thing. Ministry. For a while, I kept saying, God, I don't want to do church by myself. I want to be married. I want to be a co-pastor. We can do this. We can do church together. I want my husband to be my overseer. My husband. And I still do. However, when it's the season to start something, nobody said to go out and get a building today. Ministry can come in different forms. It could be a group setting. It can be a club. It can be a life group, something. You just a little gathering, 2 or 3 gather together. God is in the midst. Whatever. It's just start the ministry and watch it grow. Maybe while that's happening, he will come. But anyway, that's my little desire. So put it out there. I'm starting to get calls now. People giving me their information saying, oh my gosh, I have this thing coming up. I want you to be a speaker. I want you to do this. I'm like, praise God. I thank you, Lord. But it just reminded me, it's because I took the steps and just did it. I thought I was good. Like I said, I thought I was going to be fearful when I had the first speaking engagement because I haven't spoken publicly to a big group. And since I left New York, I've been down here from 2014. I did speak once to a group down here, maybe 2 times, talking about one of my programs. And that was kind of different, but it wasn't like this, like a conference or, a congregation or whatever the case is. So, but I was glad I did it and I put it out there because now I'm encouraged for the next one. I'm ready to, all right, Lord, I'm ready. What else you got for me? So I just want you to be inspired and motivated. I don't care if you got to start at the grassroots. You don't have everything. Everything is not perfect, but you're just doing it. And what happens is it'll give you some fire to keep moving forward. Like, wow, you'll grow, you'll learn stuff. Like I said, you see everything as a lesson. a lesson to learn. You'll connect with other people. You'll get exposure, so you can't, again, dismiss every opportunity, because you never know who's in the room, who you're going to connect with, who you're going to be with. It's like Sister Deetra, who was in here. I don't know if she's still here. She's having the brunch of possibilities in April, the end of April. I think it's April 26, 7, 20, or 25th, 26, and 27. Deetra can correct me. Or 26, 27, 28. But it's in that weekend. That Friday, that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The brunch of possibilities is also going to be awesome, because it's not a conference. It's just getting together and having fun. She got soap making, a soap making class going on by a sister who makes soaps. I mean, she have plans to go to the Museum of African American. The African American Museum in DC. I was trying to get the right way of saying National Museum, whatever. That's going to be awesome. Sunday and Friday, I think there's a gathering. People are going to get together, going to meet the different speakers. You're going to eat. Just have a good, it's almost like fellowship. You're not coming with an expectation as far as, it's not work. It's just getting together, having fun, getting out. It's not even focused on networking at all. It's focused on meeting people and having a great time, meeting new people. But it's about possibilities, because you're coming with an expectation of something is going to be different. And when I leave this brunch of possibilities, it's going to be different. My life is going to change in some kind of way because of the connections that you make. And it's going to be different. So follow Deetra Jones. The information is in this group as well about the brunch of possibilities. If you can come that weekend, it's going to be so great. I'm going to be there on Saturday as one of the speakers, and I'm excited about that, because Friday, my daughter's in another play, thank God. So I'm going to be at the play on Friday, but I want to be at Brunch of Possibilities on Saturdays, and I definitely plan on going to the museum on Sunday, because me and my daughter just left DC, and we was like, we got to come back to go to the museum. So I'm like, that's a blessing. But yes, the whole grassroots and accountability. That's the last piece I said. I want to talk about feelings and accountability. And, like I said, and what I do all the time, even, working with people, is there's something we do called progress notes, where it depends. It depends on, like, maybe an agency I'm working for, or with my own personal coaching clients. Maybe every 3 months I'll do a progress. Well, with my own personal coaching clients, I know with one of my last clients I had, with her goals, I would do a check-in every other month, like what she's doing. So I would email her all of the things that were accomplished, just to remind her, to encourage her, even the steps that she has made. You did this, you did that. So it's like I'm giving praise to her. I'm applauding her for the steps that she made towards the small goals, the short-term goals, because we're working up to maybe 2 or 3 overarching goals. And then after I run that down, what she did so far in the progress report in her email, then I started listing the next steps to do, and then I'll pose what I call, not powerful question. It was something things are just kind of my head off the cuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, let me call these that. But it was some kind of questioning, I called it, just to get her thinking, so she can stop planning. Because remember, coaching is an empowerment. It's to help other people feel empowered. And it's also to help other people feel like they've come up with things, like they're doing this thing on their own. I'm just helping them. I'm throwing things out there. But at the end of the day, you're the one who's applying all the tools and strategies, because that's how you empower yourself. You become empowered because you apply these things and you see change and you see fruit and manifestation. And she was so elated. And so I would just give her things to do, but allow her to figure things out. I would just give her maybe a certain direction to go into. But at the end of the day, she has to do the work. And she started getting very excited. So I was excited about this particular client, because she was just excited about, I surprised her, sent her all of the tools it takes to make a vision board. She's never made a vision board before. She's an older woman. I think she was older than me a little bit, not too far from my age. She was just so excited. She said, oh my God. When she opened the mail, she got her mail and she saw everything I bought for her, the vision board, everything. That same weekend, she got so excited. She created and took pictures and showed it to me. I was like, wow, look at that, look at that. But that was part of that's part of the accountability piece. Doing progress reports. First of all, it's like a check-in. See where you are now, what you have accomplished, keep you responsible. I'm responsible for keeping you accountable to do what you're supposed to do, but you have to be responsible in doing your part. And so that's how accountability works. So I like to do progress reports. And I have mentioned before when I did a live about, because I do premarital counseling too and post-marital counseling or coaching, but I think it's good for couples to do progress reports, progress check-ins, have a meeting. I believe in family meetings. It's powerful. They work because it gives opportunity for people to kind of share things that's on their mind, on their heart, maybe things that's bothering them. I think when you create an atmosphere of a safe space, and I do this when I work with families too, that safe space to talk, people come with a mindset not to be offensive and on the edge, but you're coming to get an understanding and how we can work together and be cohesive, increase the level of cohesiveness and co-action, come together. And so it's not about, going in and yelling, have a screaming match. It's about, let's get together, let's get an understanding. Let me listen to you, you listen to me. We resolve things. It's conflict resolution. It's a time for all of that. And I believe when everybody has a conflict resolution mindset, then they'll see change. And so that's what it's all about. So accountability is so important in our lives. Whoever you use to keep you accountable. It can be a family member, a friend. It could be an actual person that you hired as a coach. It could be your therapist, your counselor, your teacher, your pastor, your parents, whoever. You need somebody to help most of us need somebody to keep us accountable. Yes, you have those of us who are self-starters and you do your thing, but it still helps at certain stages. Even like I said, growing a business or a ministry or anything you're trying to do, different steps. You don't know it all. You don't have all the answers. I want to keep learning as I go. I don't have all the answers. And it's less stressful when you let people operate in their strength and their talent and their skill set to help you. It makes your life much easier. So people that are out there who are very successful, they got key people to work on certain things. Whatever they specialize in, that's how businesses thrive and grow. There's a director, there's a manager, there's an assistant, there's an associate, there's an administrator. Somebody is doing something. There's a quality assurance individual, making sure our things are working and flowing and everybody is doing what they're supposed to do and people are meeting the deadlines and all that. All those things are important because you can't be your best without having help, having support. You just can't. And nobody wants to be around people like that all the time. You just got it all. You don't want to be with nobody. And people read that on you. Even men see that, ladies. Men see like, oh, she don't need no man. She got this. And we don't need to walk around with that aura or that message of, nobody said to walk around being docile and like, oh, I just want to, we're not saying that. Walk confident. At the same time, if you desire to have a mate, the Bible says show yourself friendly. That's number one. If you want to have friends, you must first show yourself friendly. Be friendly, smile, be open, be welcoming. Don't walk up with a guard and I understand some of us been through some stuff, so we're hard. We got walls and fences up. Some of us got barricaded, bulletproof windows and glass. Nobody can get in. That is so unhealthy. So again, you're self-sabotaging. You're blocking out good stuff. Don't do that to yourself. Don't be your own, like I said, don't be your own self-sabotager. You already have other people out there who are naysayers doing all of that stuff already. So don't walk around like that, because then again, you're blocking out blessings, opportunities. You're blocking your chance to grow, your chance to network, your chance to connect with great people. I'm forming new circles, new spaces, new friends, new partnerships. I'm telling you. Anyway, so I went to a whole lot of different places. But so the last part was accountability, doing your little report. Natasha, you just jumping in, girl. Please watch the replay and hashtag replay when you watch the whole video. I said a whole lot of stuff in here. Me and Natasha, close friends, we go way back. We go way back. We go back to our first daughters weren't even born. We knew each other before we had our first daughters. And her daughter's around the same age as my daughter. My daughter's 25. Well, she'll be 25. She just turned 25. And so that's over 25 years. That is awesome. I thank God for the friends I have and the relationships I've kept over the years. And some people say, wow, that's rare. And God has blessed me with some wonderful friends. And Natasha's like a sister to me. But anyway, I ain't going to stay on here because then we can go into a whole nother thing when it comes to that. We've been through valleys and mountains together. But God is so good. I hope this was inspiring to you to be fearless, to be bold, to be audacious, to be daring. Double dog dare yourself to do something different. And I want to hear reports. If you've done something new, you getting ready to do something you've never done before, or you haven't done in a long time, way back. Love you too, sis. We want to hear about it. We want to hear about it. And don't just think about you. Think about other people that you're inspiring. Like if you do this, somebody else is going to come out their shell, or somebody else is going to step out on faith. Somebody's going to be more adventurous. Somebody's going to come out of their hiding place and meet new people and open up their horizons. And life is so wonderful when you walk around with that, openness and love and freedom. And so I talk a lot about the unforgiveness or, trauma. You hear me talk a lot about in my, when I come live and when I do my videos, because I see that's a lot of the things that are holding people back. Is some underlying thing, underpinning thing going on that sometimes they're not aware of. And sometimes you could not be aware of something that's keeping you back. And when that is lifted, when you are healed, that's why this group is also about healing over past mistakes or past traumas, so you can live your best life, so you can be free, so you can not walk around with those, what I said, walls and chains and guards and fences up, blocking people out, because you block yourself off from love and good things and good relationships. It's important in life to have great relationships, great friends, a significant other, whoever. You want to have that. You want that coming out of you, like radiating out of you, so you can attract that back to you. Because I do believe in that as well. I do believe, like as Deetra said, you attract what you reflect. And not only that, you attract who you like, which is the same thing. You attract what comes out of your spirit, whether that's brokenness, dysfunction. If that's always coming out of you, you're going to attract those type of people. You're going, and then that's how you see yourself in these cycles and circles, constantly the same thing over and over again. Okay, so I'm done. I didn't mean to go that long, but this is great. Guys, leave comments. For those of you who watch the replay, comment, chime in. Let's talk about it, and so I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Be blessed, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.